well. For this video, we're going to discuss how Barcelona created their offensive structure against Atletico Madrid's 4-4-2. Won't discuss what happens after they lost the ball, but the initial preparation to that while being on the ball. I thought it was a unique way of doing it. Um, the way Barcelona set up, they were in a 4-4-2, the team in blue here. Here's the back four, and then a diamond was created with Rakitic, Busquets, Vidal and Puig in the midfield, and Messi and Suarez as the two nines. And Atletico Madrid's usual structure was the 4-4-2, four in the back, four midfield, flat across, and two center forwards. And normally against two forwards, which you see here, you want to be able to create a numerical advantage for balance purposes. So in this line specifically, you're going to be pressed initially with two. But because the outside players, so I'm going to push them outside of the yellow box so that it's a good reference. So when the outside backs make a big offensive shape, they will normally be pressed by somebody from a second line like this, whether it's the right or left. Because of that, these will initially press something like this, some sort of pressure cover or pressure in blocking this diagonal pass here. And this is a 2v2. So what you want to avoid here in these moments is be able to cut in this exact 2v2. Do not count the outside backs in this moment now, because when the ball gets there, if the ball gets there, they will become part of a different sector of the field and could be pressed by a different player from a different line. So now that we know that we have the 2v2, what Barcelona was doing is creating a 3v2 here, but with Rakitic specifically. So he would drop into the half space here, and the left center would move a little bit more central. So now you have your 3v3, and even Quique Setién said it in his post-match interview. He wanted the outside backs to get higher. But again, in order to do that, you need to have a little bit of a balanced structure here, and that's your 3v2. And this was very interesting because Vidal on the right side occupied this space a lot. And not only did he stay low for support, but also made runs in behind. And we'll discuss that in a sec. So now that Rakitic is here, we'll add the plus sign, so we know that he's the extra player joining from the midfield. This also created a space here. So if you think about, this player might be engaged by the left back, this opens up this space. Now who's going to take this space? It was very easy to identify. Now you don't want Busquets to go here and Vidal to go here, because that now you're bringing two different players that operate in the same way, and you want to be able to advance the ball. So that's why Busquets almost always operates in the central channel, like so, and Vidal takes the entire half spaces, sometimes on the wide, sometimes behind the line, sometimes in between lines, but that's where you want him to operate. So Puig was a player, he's a 10. At the beginning of the game, I thought he was a winger coming in. It just wasn't clear, but eventually it became about when this player was in this position here, what would he do and why? So the ball was anywhere in the back line, the ball going left to right. He started operating more in this space. Did he need to get in between these two players? Did he need to get in front of the reference, which is this player, or did he need to stay behind him? Okay, and that was the good situation, because if he stayed here and the ball somehow got to him, now he's in a bad situation, and you're creating an opening here to play behind. At the same time, you have this situation here, which is a 2 versus 1. So these are all the unique problems that this created. And it also allows for a lot of freedom for him to operate, because the moment he got on the ball in comfort or was able to break some sort of line, then it was like a little bit of like he could go here, he could go there in different areas, and it was really difficult to track. Um, and another part that's important to recognize is that when Rakitic leaves the diamond midfield against the two nines, now you have a specific structure in the central channels. We talked about wide players responsible for outside backs, and Puig becoming part of the third. Sometimes it looked like this, and now you have a 3v2 in the midfield, and that's why it was okay for this to happen. Now, what ended up happening as well is that Messi would kept drifting, or I'm sorry, moving into these spaces lower in the half space, which sometimes you would get Vidal and Messi on the same line like this, which didn't make sense to me. But at the same time, I can understand that Vidal has the freedom and is able also to operate based on the spaces available and based on where the ball is, and be able to make these runs behind. So let's take a look very quickly at the clip. There's the change of positions in the blues. And then when that happens, you can see Puig moving to the left half space, and he decides, okay, here's, should I stay? Should I go? What's on? And that was very important to create. And again, the decision to stay in behind, to stay in front. There's a 3v2 in the back line. There's Messi coming in as the fourth. And then you can already see, once he sees that, he needs to get above the man and stay in the pocket. So that picture again, when the ball goes from the central player here, okay, the moment the ball travels, there's a space that opens up in front of the man like this. So that could tell the player, this player Puig, to get in front of it to receive, and that pulls a player and it opens up this one here. But because the ball got there before he made that decision, okay, so now he will carry, the ball will move forward, and he has to get above the man because of it. Okay, so those are the reasons why you either get in front of it or behind, or you stay in between. And again, this was a different approach to creating the line of three against the two nines to create balance. Obviously, this will allow you to play out with comfort, and you should always be able to find a free man between this three against the two center forwards. There are different ways to do it. We have seen Barcelona do it differently, where the center backs spread out more and operate in half spaces, and Busquets drops in. I think for this game, particularly because of who the opponent was, and the players that were involved, specifically Puig, his mobility allowed him to go from central areas to the half spaces, specifically on the left because Rakitic was dropping deep. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope everyone's doing well. And let's see what the next game goes. I think Man City will be playing Liverpool today. That should be a good one. Thanks, guys.